Warning, the following game may be following you. What? No. Okay, the following game is really mad because unlike other games, it does not try to obey or emulate any rules of physics correctly. In fact, it was programmed on the basis of, if it looks and feels cool, then it's cool. This leads to a very unique gameplay experience unlike anything before. This game is also a 3D cartoon game. It's not a normal 3D game, so be prepared. Because what you're about to experience is truly something close to stepping out of this world and into an alternate reality one. What you're about to experience is a game called Need for Madness. You could also disregard all the above if you want. Wait, what? Radical play, and we are never going to find the new unless we get a little crazy. Hello everyone, this is Blue, and welcome to a new Let's Play called Need for Madness. This is a bit small, so I'm going to raise the default a little bit to make it a bit bigger for you guys all to see. Sorry that I had to rush through that opening a bit, because the text actually disappears. If I were to read it at normal speed, then it would have gone by too fast, and so I had to really rush through it. If you want to read it yourself, you can just go back and pause it or whatever if I read it too fast for you. So yeah, this is Need for Madness. It's a free-to-play PC game that came out many years ago, and I discovered it earlier this year over my spring break, and it's pretty fun. I had to reset my save data for this, and so it's going to put us through the whole tutorial, and this is what you're going to see when you start the game up here for your first time. If this flickering bothers you on the title screen, that's just because I have the screen so large. If you make it the normal size, it doesn't really flicker so much. It gets a lot better once you actually start playing the game, so sorry that that's there. I think it's better to have it larger rather than smaller and just deal with the flickering. Not sure why it does that, but I'm trying my best. So we can just click play game here. It's going to tell us the controls. On the ground, the spacebar is brake, and you can accelerate with the up arrow key, brake, also with the bottom arrow key, and also use that for reverse, turn left and right with those arrow keys. When you're in the air, you can press the spacebar to perform a stunt, and then you can forward or backward loop with the up and down arrow keys, and then also roll to the left or to the right. The purposes of all this will be explained when we actually get to playing the game. Hello, welcome to the world of Need for Madness. In this game, there are two ways to complete a stage. One is by racing and finishing in first place, and the other is by wasting and crashing all the other cars in the stage. Okay, so essentially, you can either choose to race and go through the checkpoints and finish the race first, or you can smash into all the other cars to deplete their health bars and kill them, and if you're the last car standing, before any other car finishes the race, then you are declared the victor by default. If you choose to race, then naturally you also have to contend with cars racing against you and cars that are trying to smash into you to waste you. While racing, you will need to focus on going fast and passing through all the checkpoints in the track. To complete a lap, you must not miss a checkpoint. While wasting, you will just need to chase the other cars and crash into them without worrying about the tracks and the checkpoints. Whether you are racing or wasting the other cars, you will need to power up your car. The more power you have makes your car faster and stronger. To power up your car, you need to perform stunts in the air. Typically, the better the stunt, the more power you will get. For instance, doing 2 loops in the air will give you more power than doing 1 loop in the air, and the power will drain slowly as you are moving. When you're wasting cars to help you find the other cars in the stage, you can press the A arrow, and rather than pointing to the checkpoints, the arrow will then point to the nearest car to you. When your car is damaged, you need to fix it by jumping through this electrified hoop that is on most of the stages in the game. Most stages have 1 of these hoops. Some of them have 2 or more. And then there's 1 or 2 that don't have the hoop at all, so once you get damaged, you're damaged permanently. You'll find that in some stages it's easier to waste, and in other stages it's easier to race and finish in first place. It is up to you to decide when to waste and when to race. And remember, power is an important factor in the game. You will need it regardless of what mode you're in. And if you don't know who I am Coach Insano. I am the coach and narrator of this game. I recommend starting with Need for Madness 1 if it's your first time to play. So, let's do just that and begin Need for Madness 1. We will enter a car select screen here, and the stage select music will also begin shortly. It usually takes a bit. There it goes. So we have 5 cars that we start off with, and then we will unlock more as we progress in the game. These are the 5 that we have to start, I believe. The first is Tornado Shark, which is a fairly well-rounded car. It's decent at racing, it has some good strength to it, but it's not spectacular. Formula 7 is the definition of a glass cannon. It is by far the fastest car in this game. And you might be thinking, what? They gave us the fastest car right off the bat? And yes, they do. Except Formula 7 is incredibly fragile and will be wasted in only a couple of hits. So if you're going to play as Formula 7, you have to really be careful that you don't smash into anything. WoW Canonaro is the opposite. It's a bit slower, but for the early game, it's the best car at wasting. It's pretty powerful, it can take a lot of hits, and if you want to waste early on before you unlock better cars, that would be the car to use. La Vida Crab is a bit less extreme than Formula 7. It's a bit tougher, and it's also pretty fast, but it's not quite as extreme. And then there's Nimi. Nimi is the most mediocre car in the game, in my opinion. It's best at stunts. It can flip around in the air very fast, so when other cars could only do a single loop, Nimi may be able to do two, so to get more power, but that's about it. It's not fast, it's pretty weak, and I don't recommend using it on most stages, but because I'm intending on showing off all these cars at least one point, I guess we can use it for the first stage just to get it over with. This is the introductory stage of the game, and let's give it a go. Hey, don't forget to complete a lap. You must pass through all checkpoints in the track. That car in the front there that you can see is the boss car of this stage. That is Max Revenge. We have not unlocked him yet, and we will after we complete the second stage of the game. So typically, here's a checkpoint. Typically, in Need for Madness, you will be introduced to a boss car on one level, and then the next level, or the even-numbered level, that was the hoop right there. On the even level, after you beat it, you will unlock the car. So the first is sort of an introduction to the boss car, and then the second stage will be the duel, quote-unquote, with the boss car. So this is Max Revenge's introduction stage. It's pretty simple and pretty easy. It's just a simple loop. The fixing ring is in a pretty easy location to get through. There are some nice ramps that you can do stunts on. I can do something crazy like this and get some more power from it. Ripping double forward by double roll spin. If you happen to land on your back while doing a stunt, your stunt does not count. It is null and void. So it is the most important to make sure that you land on your wheels. Formula 7 tried to crash into me there. That's not going to happen. I'm weak, but I'm not as weak as you are. Typically, your forward loops will propel you farther through the air, so it's better if you want to keep your speed up. But your backward loops will give you higher elevation, so those are good if you want to get off more tricks in the air. And here's the finish already. That is it. That is the first stage of Need for Madness. It's very easy. That's why I decided to use Nimi on it, because doing the later stages as Nimi would not be fun. You always get a game highlight. I guess they thought that that stunt was pretty cool, so they'll show it off again. Or maybe it's this stunt. Maybe I did like a double loop one. Oh, I did some kind of like rolly thing, yeah. Okay. So yeah, no one was wasted in that. Nothing really too exciting. But now, Stage 2 is unlocked, and I'm going to be trying out a different car. Let's try out... I'm going to be saving Formula 7 for later, because unlike these other four, Formula 7 is a car that I feel is still viable in the later stages of the game because of how fast it is. So I'm going to try Tornado Shark. This is Stage 2, contrary to popular belief. Remember, the more power you have, the faster your car will be. And we're racing against Max Revenge again, as our duel with him. Formula 7, La Vida Crab, and WoW Canonaro. So we want to try to avoid WoW Canonaro if we can, because, as I said earlier, he can do some... Whoa, almost overflipped there. He can do some serious damage to you if you're not careful. Those small humps there are really only good if you want to do like a back loop type thing. That's really all you have space to do on them. Once again, the fixing hoop is right in the middle of the track. Wow, I overshot it. Not that I needed it anyway, but... Again, fairly simple track. Tornado Shark is a bit faster than Nimi, I think. It's a lot harder to kill than Nimi is. Or waste, rather. I'll probably use kill and waste interchangeably. It's overall much better early on in the game, in my opinion. Formula 7, though, by far is my favorite of the early game cars. There's a couple other controls in the game that I didn't go over in the instructions. I guess I can show them off in a second. Oh good, I saved myself. You can, if you bounce like that, you can sometimes like roll, spin, and flip over, and then save yourself from losing your trick. So if you press Z on the keyboard, you can look behind you. That's useful occasionally, but not usually, because then you can't watch where you're going. And if you can't watch where you're going, there may be a car right in front of you that's coming to smash into you. And then S will open up this mini-map. It'll tell you how fast you're going, which is kind of useless unless you want to compare cars' top speeds or something. But more importantly, it will show you the track. And on certain stages, one in particular, it's very helpful to see where the track actually is, so that you know roughly where you're going. At the same time, though, it's kind of annoying to have it up there in the top left corner, so if I don't need it, I probably will not use it that much. Once again, this is just the beginning of the game, so there's not much going on. I guarantee you in the future levels there will be much more action going on. It's just there aren't any crazy... That was a bad flip, and I landed poorly. Anyway, as I was saying, in the future, there will be more powerful cars that we'll have to contend with, and then the race will be significantly more interesting. Because right now, no one's really giving me any trouble. And we're almost on this race anyway. No one's getting wasted either. But don't worry, there will be much more difficult levels in the future. Do a nice backflip here. Yes. There's the finish line. Please don't pass me, Levita Crab. Thank you. I didn't really go through it, but it counted anyway, so I finished first. Let's see what cool stunt I did as Tornado Shark. No, Tornado Shark is not a reference to Sharknado. This game came out long before that, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I thought my recovery from that was a cool stunt. I happen to agree. The one thing in this game that Nimi is good at is that it can flip faster in the air than any other car, so you can get off a lot of stunts. I might have said that earlier. But yeah, that's the one thing Nimi can do, is flip fast. So yep. And now I have unlocked Max Revenge and Stage 3. So I guess I can show off Max Revenge's stats. A bit faster than most of the other cars, it's handled well, and it's a bit stronger as well. So overall, it's an improvement. I'll show it off in a future video. But for now, thank you very much for watching. This is Blue, and welcome to Let's Play Need for Madness. I will see you next time when we will be using Max Revenge, or possibly some other car I haven't decided yet, on the third stage, and we'll see what that entails for us. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all then.